Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the Phi Theta Kappa 2025 Spring Induction Ceremony. My name is Lori Shepard, and I serve as an advisor for our chapter. With me are our co-advisors, Dina Dawson and Shelley Kramroff. I want to thank all of our inductees and their family members and friends for attending tonight. Our current students have done amazing things, and I know this new group will continue to do the same. At the Spring Regional Conference, Beta Zeta Phi was awarded 5 stars status, Distinguished Honors in Action in Category 8, and Dina was recognized with the Horizons Award for the Chapter Advisor. Thank you. Shelley and I just got back from Catalyst, and at Catalyst this past weekend, Shelley was awarded the Distinguished College Administrator Award. We are very fortunate to have such a supportive administration at MCC and EICC so that we can continue to provide opportunities for students to develop as scholars and leaders. We would like to thank our Chancellor, Dr. Wee, for attending tonight's induction. The purpose of Phi Theta Kappa shall be to recognize and encourage scholarships among two-year college students. To achieve this purpose, Phi Theta Kappa shall provide opportunities for the development of leadership and service, for an intellectual climate for exchange of ideas and ideals, for lively fellowship for scholars, and for stimulation of interest in continuing academic excellence. Phi Theta Kappa's mission is twofold. One is to recognize and encourage the academic achievements of two-year college students, and 2 is to provide opportunities for individual growth and development through participation in honors, leadership, service, and fellowship programming. Phi Theta Kappa just celebrated its 100-year anniversary in 2018. And today is the largest honor society in America's higher education. We are 3.5 million members across 1,300 community colleges in the United States, US territories, Canada, and Germany. In 1929, the American Association of Community Colleges recognized Phi Theta Kappa as the official honor society for a two-year college. Our chapter, Beta Zeta Phi, was established in 1998, and tonight we will be inducting our 30th president.
I would now like to present Dr. Naomi DeWinter as tonight's keynote speaker. Dr. DeWinter has been with MCC as our president since 2015. And also serves as Vice Chancellor of Student Development for EICC overall. Dr. DeWinter has accomplished many great things for our college in her tenure, including renovation of Loper Hall, establishing a LULAC chapter on campus, securing mental health resources across the EICC district, and involvement in our K-12 schools and greater community. She serves on several boards, including the Greater Muscatine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Chair of the Rotary Club of Muscatine, Muscatine Center of Social Action, Allied Impact Muscatine, and many others. She continues to be a champion and advocate for Phi Theta Kappa, our members, and our mission. I am pleased to present to you this evening Dr. Naomi DeWinter.
I've actually only done half of those things. Dina kind of made up a couple of boards that I'm on, I think. Yeah. I'm going to start with a quote tonight. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. This was said by Helen Keller, an American author, activist, educator, and the first deaf-blind person to earn a college degree. I want to talk with you a little bit tonight about discomfort and challenge you to put yourself into situations where you will have discomfort. It's illogical, isn't it? We usually want to avoid situations where we know we'll be uncomfortable. Show me something or someone I know, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to veer towards that. But tonight, I'm going to ask you to choose discomfort more often. And I'll get back to that point. So last week, we had a celebration called MCC Legends. And we honored 2 former faculty members, Marshall McDonald, who taught agriculture for 33 years, and Paul Wiltz, who taught in our welding program for 38 years. And so it made me wonder, how can you do something for so long and continue to find enjoyment in that? When I interviewed Marshall, he actually told me he never considered that he would be a teacher. He got a call one day when he was graduating from college, and someone said, you know, we have this opening at MCC, we want you to consider it. And he thought to himself, you know, I'll try it for a year. What can happen in a year? And 33 years later happened, and he had such a fulfilling career. And so what I think Paul and Marshall did in those decades that they committed to teaching is they always honed their skill. The teachers that they were 33 and 38 years earlier were not the teachers that they were decades after. They knew that things in their fields changed. They knew that the college changed. They knew that students' needs changed, and they changed along with that. So they really committed themselves to becoming excellent teachers every step of the way. They had a lot of variety in their career. Yes, their main thing was teaching, but they made relationships with partners, they competed at different levels with their students, they coached their students, there was a lot of travel involved, so there was a lot of variety in what they did. And they built relationships within the college, with their students, with their colleagues, outside of the college, that were very meaningful to them and I think sustained them along their journey. And this, I think, is important and was said especially about Paul. They stayed open to opportunities, even though it wasn't clear where those opportunities would take them. So I want to come back to this idea of discomfort. And I'm reading a book by Adam Grant. It's called Hidden Potential. He writes, especially the part that I'm reading now, that there have been studies done about how people learn foreign languages. How many of our PTK inductees have studied a foreign language in high school? Yes, me too. So most of us start learning a language and we don't feel ready to use it until we have a great deal of confidence under our belts. We think, just another week, another month, a few more words, a little bit more practice in my classroom, and that's when I'll start using my language. And let's be honest, probably for many of us, that level of confidence where we feel we can switch our brains into Spanish or French or German really never comes. We might graduate from high school, we graduate from college, we stop studying the language, and it's possible that we've never uttered a word in that language in a real conversation. And so what Adam Grant actually suggests, and there have been some studies to back this up, is to start speaking in the foreign language on day one. You don't have confidence. You don't even have skills at that point. But you have to apply what you're learning on day one and focus on making mistakes. There's an example of a person who moves to Costa Rica. He'd actually failed Spanish several years in a row in high school, but his goal was to start speaking Spanish and make 200 mistakes a day. I remember studying French in high school, and I actually had the opportunity to go to school in Germany. So France and Germany are neighbors. You can go to France in just a few hours, just like we go from here to Des Moines. I'd be in France on a weekend trip, and my dad and I decided we're going to take a weekend trip to France. So we ended up at a small grocery store, and we wanted to get some food for our trip. We were in a camper. So we're in this grocery store. I remember this vision, and I'm standing in front of like a cheese counter. And I love cheese, so I was going to buy some cheese in France. And I thought, what a thrill. My dad didn't speak any French, so I was learning a little bit, so I was the person who was going to be ordering something for us. So I remember thinking, what cheese am I going to order? There's all this beautiful selection. And I remembered, now how do I say I want something? And luckily, I actually could produce it. And for those of you who learned French, je voudrais 100 grammes de Gouda, or something. I remember that moment just like it was yesterday. Now, this is probably over 30 years ago. And then, to my shock, she said something back to me. And I had no idea what she said. But in the end, it was such a thrill because I ended up with some cheese that we were able to pay for. And the fun of learning languages as I was reading this Hidden Potential book is to use it, even if it's full of errors and even if you only understand 10% of the conversation. And it takes discomfort to put yourself into that situation where you're going to order cheese and you don't have any idea what the person is saying back to you. So as Phi Theta Kappa members, you represent the top 10% of our nation's community colleges. Lori told you how many millions of students are already a member of Phi Theta Kappa internationally. And PTK doesn't just recognize students' academic success. You will have opportunities to develop professional and leadership skills, earn scholarships, explore different career paths, and your worlds will become bigger. You already have many, many skills that you've acquired through your courses. They've kind of been hidden in your history courses, in your stats courses, in your speech courses. You have skills in communication, decision-making, time management, research, motivation, service, leadership. I know the list goes on and on. I will challenge you to put those skills to the test and to use them outside of your classroom. I hope that through your membership in Phi Theta Kappa and your affiliation with Muscatine Community College, your worlds become bigger. Your dreams become bigger. You put yourself into uncomfortable situations. Our wish for all of you is that through your time at MCC, you're on a journey to a life that is fulfilling and one that brings you great joy. Just like we learned about Marshall and Paul, our legends who spent a big chunk of their lives teaching here at MCC. And I predict that in a few years, we'll ask many of you to come back to MCC and to tell us about the great things that you've done. Back to Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Congratulations.
On behalf of the Beta Zeta Phi Theta chapter, Naomi, I would like to thank you for being our keynote speaker tonight. We appreciate all you have done for our institution and specifically for Phi Theta Kappa. So thank you for your time this evening. Honored guests and fellow Phi Theta Kappa members, I am pleased to present to you these young candidates for membership into our honor society. These students have fulfilled the requirements of a 3.5 GPA and a minimum of 12 college credit hours. They have been selected because they have been chosen scholastically for their leadership, service, and fellowship as their hallmarks. I recommend them for acceptance into the Beta Zeta Phi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Future members, you are about to be introduced and inducted into a scholarly fellowship which embraces community college not only in your state, not only in the nation, but also worldwide. This fellowship is Phi Theta Kappa, and your chapter is Beta Zeta Phi. After induction, you will find among the members an atmosphere of scholarship to which you must give yourself in order that the organization may be meaningful to you. I would like to recognize our 2024-25 outgoing presidents this evening, Laura Eads as president and Cynthia Bornson as vice president.
I have in my hand a candle, symbolic of knowledge, which is the servant of wisdom, which dwells with prudence and leads in ways of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment.
I'm a little short. I have the white rose typifying purity and beauty of life, with its white buds signifying intellectual associations.
You'll see our emblem for Phi Theta Kappa. This is the emblem. It consists of a gold slab, keyed at the top and the bottom. The golden field refers to the golden opportunity that abounds on every hand for society to evidence their culture and perform good works. Since gold is the most noble of metals, it shall have a further significance to our society, for it shall represent that nobility attained by those who achieve intellectual leadership. Across the slab, you will observe a black band. It represents the three ideals which bind us together. They are true wisdom, aspiration, and purity. Behind the band is a wreath, on the one side composed of oak leaves and on the other laurel. The oak leaf stands for stability and strength of character, while the graceful curling leaves of the laurel signify achievement and success, all tributes and are members in our society. This badge stands for a symbol for the high idealism of our organization and membership in our select group. You have studied the constitution of this organization, the purpose of which is to foster a spirit of devotion to study and to scholarly ideas among its members, and whose principles are embodied in the Greek letters, which stands for wisdom, aspiration, and purity.
Now that the standards and ideals of this organization has been fully revealed to you, come to complete the pledge which admits you into complete fellowship. As Christina calls your name, please make your way to my left of the stage and pick up an honor cord to be placed around your neck. Come across the stage and receive a white rose, and as you cross the stage, we will light your candle. Then please return to your seats, but stay standing.
Julio Aguirre. Lincoln Brookhart. Gavin Brookhart. Jafet Bukasa. Mia DeWinter. Connor Eads. Natalie Hartman. Grayson Hartung. Savannah Labath. Clay Ledger. Jessica Mock. Marty Massey. Clarissa McNally. Amber Oyne. Alexiana Oliva. Ashley Perkins. Mackenzie Rolfe. Liam Shepard. I'll slow down. I wasn't paying attention. It's the stage. Christian Stogdill. Anna Storr. And Ashley Swift. Did we miss a name? Oh. It got back. Jaylee Perez. Sorry, Jaylee. She must have come in back.
Inductees, please repeat after me. I do solemnly promise on the 7th day of April 2025 to uphold the standards of Phi Theta Kappa and to keep this object and aim in mind. I do solemnly promise allegiance to my fellow members and promise to aid them in all worthy endeavors. It is my pleasure to welcome you into the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, the lively fellowship of scholars it affords. I salute you and for your accomplishments. I charge you to explore always for truth and to dedicate yourselves to the cultivation of the well-reasoned life, a prelude of service and of honor. I present to you Beta Zeta Phi's Spring 2025 inductees. You may all now be seated. We will now induct our new officers for the 2025-2026 school year.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia. I am the current vice president of Beta Zeta Pi chapter. At this time, I would like to introduce Liam Shepard, who will serve as the vice president for 2025-2026. I did not know what I was reading. That's okay. So I am going to now give you your officer, whatever that is, and then this. And that's it. No. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Liam, as vice president, you shall perform all the duties of the president in the event of absence, direct the chapter in the use of I don't know what that word is. Procedure for meetings, oversee all honors and action projects, coordinate the preparation of the chapter's honors and actions award entries, encourage scholarly fellowship at the levels of society, implement strategies to increase membership. Liam, if you agree to these standards, please repeat after me. I, Liam Shepard,
I, Liam Shepard,
do solemnly promise to fulfill,
do solemnly promise to fulfill,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties as the vice president
the duties as the vice president
of Beta Zeta Pi chapter of Pi Theta Kappa.
of the Beta Zeta Phi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa.
Perfect.
Oh, come on. As the current chapter president, I have the pleasure of inducting a new president for the 2025 and 2026 school year. Jayla, if you would please step forward. Jaylee, as president, you shall prepare meeting agendas and lead meetings, appoint and establish any necessary committees, vote only in the case of a tie, develop goals for the chapter, oversee chapter projects, and award entry preparation. Provide regular updates to the chapter advisors. Jaylee, if you agree to these standards, please repeat after me. I, Jaylee Perez,
I, Jaylee Perez,
do solemnly promise to fulfill,
do solemnly promise to fulfill,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
my duties as the president
my duties as the president
of the Beta Zeta Phi chapter
of the Beta Zeta Phi chapter
of Phi Theta Kappa.
of Phi Theta Kappa.
I'm supposed to give you this. Be careful, it's hot. Okay. Just take it with her. I'll take it back.
Congratulations to our president and our vice president this evening. You are now oops, go ahead. You are now recognized as an executive officer of the Beta Zeta Phi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa. We pledge the support of the members of this chapter to you. Before I conclude this ceremony, just a few housekeeping notes. One, Naomi had talked about Paul Wiltz and his contribution to Muscatine Community College for all those years. I want to thank his daughter, who also works here. She bleeds students, loves MCC, grew up here as a toddler, and we're very fortunate to have her work in our department, and she helped, not just helped put everything together for tonight. So thank you, Christina.